Well, it was a normal kind of day, at least it began that way. I got my intelligence brief at home at the Vice President's residence about 6:30 in the morning. I was in my office by about 8, which was kind of a late start, but the President was out of town that day, so we didn't have our normal early morning meeting. And I was in my office working with my chief speechwriter. My assistant called in from the outer office, and she said that an airplane had just hit the World Trade Center. And so I turned on the television, and of course you could see the smoke. My immediate reaction was to think that it was extraordinarily unusual to have an accident like that on such a day. You know, it hit the World Trade Center, an airliner, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful September morning. And then as we watched, we saw the actual second strike when the second airplane came in. A number of people were obviously visibly shaken by what was going on. They hadn't been through that kind of experience or training before. But the rank and file, if you will, an awful lot of our folks had the benefit of having to think about the unthinkable. We have trained over the years and thought about and practiced on what you would do, for example, if there were a nuclear attack that threatened an entire city or an all-out global conflict with the Soviets back during the days of the Cold War. So the complexity of the problems and so forth wasn't that strange. You need to recognize, as a lot of us do if we've been involved in that kind of thing before, a bit of conventional wisdom, which is all first reports are always wrong. There's always more to come. When I walked into the Emergency Operations Center, we had a list of 6 aircraft that had been hijacked with the tail numbers. And of course, there were only 4 that had been hijacked, but for a long time there, we thought there were 6. And then we received reports about the same time that there had been a car bomb set off at the State Department, another one on Capitol Hill. There were all of these reports coming in about attacks and threats, many of which, of course, were inaccurate. There was a story about a plane headed for the President's ranch in Crawford, another one going to fly into Camp David. Part of it was just the fog of war. It just simply wasn't true, but you had to be able to operate in spite of that. It's one of those days where you have to be able to sort through what's important and what you can deal with, what you can act upon, where you can have an impact, and not worry about the rest of it.